All right. So today I am setting the intention to discuss how creativity and channeling go together. I'm assuming most people have a general concept of what creativity is, but since I chose this path of expressing myself and becoming an artist, that word creativity has expanded exponentially for me. I used to think that creativity was reserved for like certain types of people or if they pursued it as a career. But my personal belief is that if you subscribe to the idea that we originate from a creatrix, creator, some creative force, then you inherently have that creative force within you. So I truly, truly believe that everyone is inherently creative. You just have to find your modalities that speak to your soul, and those can evolve over time too. I fought for a long time with the concept of, oh, I'm a charcoal artist, or oh, I use watercolors. Like, I didn't like the commitment to just one medium. So, and even disciplines, like, I love dancing. I take ballet classes, I take singing lessons, I sing all the time, I sing when I make my art. I write poetry. That was probably one of my first art forms that I was authentically like expressing myself. So, different modalities, different mediums. I feel like the more open you are to all of that, the more you'll be able to like unleash those different layers of yourself. But whatever creativity means to you, and then channeling, I think people have a lot more misconceptions. I don't have a definite answer, but I do have my personal experience. I had no idea what it was. A few years ago, I was meditating and just spending a lot of time in nature and in solitude. And things would start coming to me, and I was like, oh, this is like fun at first. And then it got to be uh, pretty, how do I even describe it? It was a lot. And so I definitely thought I was going crazy for a minute, but there's different types of channeling, there's different types of channeling gifts that people have thrown labels around. So one of the more common ones is the clairs. I remember the first YouTube video I watched describing them, and I was like, ow, it's not just me. So yeah, I wasn't crazy, but there's the clairs. The main ones that I personally have experienced are clairvoyance, so you can see visually in your mind's eye. Mine almost plays like a movie. My subconscious loves using movie references, so I'll have like movie clips, or I'll see things in conversations that'll pop up when people are talking to me. Uh, so clairvoyance is clear sight. And my other one is clairaudience, which made me feel really mental, but you hear things. So I'll hear melodies, I'll hear phrases, movie lines, what have you, famous quotes, like biblical quotes sometimes, just like funny things that I would never say in my human self, in my everyday vernacular, but sometimes they'll pop up in conversations, or I just will say them out loud, and it's kind of funny when that happens usually. But clairaudience, I also experienced ear ringing, all those types of symptoms before it started. So I was worried it was like a medical thing. And then I started having all these like downloads and things, which were really fun. And that's what I relied on heavily with my poetry too. I would hear the poems. And then when it combined with my clairvoyance, I could almost see the poems written. So I would hear and then see it's like meshed really well together. So those are the two main ones. There's clear cognizance, clear knowing, when you just have a feeling like your heightened intuition essentially, or a gut instinct. There's clear smell, clear taste. Forgot the feeling one, but you can feel things with your hands. Like some people can read books by touching them. So those are fun channeling methods. And then my first like actual channeling experience that I remembered, I was meditating in a hotel room because I work for the airline, so I'm in hotels a lot. And hotels are like liminal spaces. They're usually pretty minimalistic. You don't have your creature comforts and identity things reflecting back at you. So hotels are fun for me because I get a lot of messages there. And so I was meditating one day, And I kept hearing, and I kept hearing the word seraphim, and I at the time didn't know what that was, and then it spelled it out for me so I could later look it up and figure out what it was. And it's a higher order of angels. That was my first experience. And then I was channeling light language, but again, I thought I was speaking gibberish because I'm obsessed with languages. I studied Arabic, Polish, Spanish, what have you. I just love the sound of different languages. And so I was speaking this gibberish and I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I went on YouTube again and I found other channelers speaking almost verbatim the same thing I was. So I was like, okay, maybe there's something more to this. And I later discovered it was light language. So those are some different channeling experiences I've had. There's people that channel like spiritual, higher dimensional beings, like all kinds of things. So you can go down that rabbit hole if you'd like. But the main point of this video is how, just like my clairvoyance and my clairaudience mesh together, how my creativity and channeling mesh together, and how you potentially could explore that bridge as well. So, yeah, the first thing I would suggest for anyone that's open to this concept or wants to develop their creativity is you have to get comfy cozy with the fact that as a creative, as an artist, as a human, you are a channel for the divine, whatever that looks like for you. There's the spiritual realms, the realms beyond this physical one, and then there's our physical reality, the human world that we live in. And the bridge between those two is really important to me. And creativity has been the way I express that bridge, and the channeling has helped me create the bridge, if that makes sense. So, I guess to begin to explore this avenue, I first had to make space. Just like with anything in life, if you want to bring something new in, you have to make space. I always use the metaphor of a fridge. If your fridge is full, you're not fitting more groceries in there. I'm sorry. So that's just how it goes. But I had to make space. So I did it a little dramatically because I've been told I'm kind of dramatic. So I quit one of my dream jobs, sold pretty much everything I owned except for a backpack and my car at the time, and just like completely made space with my identity, my physical possessions, my home. The world became my home. I was backpacking around. So making space is probably the first thing that I would recommend. After I backpacked around the world and did all that, it was during the Great Shakeup. So everyone was, I think, kind of readjusting their sails. And it gave me a lot of time to, sit and figure out where I wanted to go. And it also, I spent time with people I loved. It also gave me a lot of solitude. So, number two, I would recommend structured time for solitude. And for some people, this can be hard. You have like roommates or you're living with people or whatever, what have you. But to channel for me, at least in my personal experience, to be comfortable at first, I had to be in solitude. And with my creativity, we're in a consumerist, society and time of life, so I had to cut down the noise in order to clear my own channel to hear my own creative thoughts that were trying to come through. So solitude is a really, really big one. I think that's why a lot of artists are labeled as more introverted. And, I was listening to an interview with Grimes, and she would say that her roommates would just like slide food to her. She would just lock herself away for weeks at a time when she was trying to produce albums. So I deeply resonate with that. And I feel like solitude is a big component of trying to birth any creative idea. And the third thing, so we had making space, solitude. The third thing is the one that I'm still continuing to work through is the confidence over self-doubt always. Like I said, when I was describing it, at first I thought I was crazy. At first I thought I was making it up. At first I thought I was speaking gibberish. And now that I'm slowly becoming more confident, it's really helped me develop my creativity and my channeling more. Just like leaning into, okay, worst case scenario, you're speaking gibberish and making stuff up, but or having a great time or making authentic art. So the worst case scenario is that. So there really isn't a downside in my opinion. But the confidence, I'm not saying that the confidence comes easily though. It took me a very long time. I still don't channel in front of people. Maybe I will in the next video or someday, but yeah, it was a very private practice for me. So I'm slowly trying to, make another bridge into the public eye for my channeling experiences. So I've been incorporating them a little bit with my artwork, and I definitely like try to sing and incorporate that when it happens in the flow state naturally for most people anyway, I think. But when I create, a lot of the times it'll just start flowing through me. One of my recent pieces I did, I channeled light language from my soul origin point in the universe, and it was very emotional for me, and I legit started crying. So I put one of those tears on the artwork. That was very meaningful to me. But yeah, so my art is infused with light language, and the channeling process has dramatically shifted my art in the best way possible. So the more you can be open and lean into the idea that, you are a vessel, a channel, whatever you want to call it, for the divine creatrix, creative source to flow through you, I think it will do wonders for your creativity and your self expression. So, that is just my 2 cents, and I hope it leads to you deep diving down some rabbit holes. Let me know if you've had similar experiences or if you're curious about any of these topics, and I will see you next time. Okay, so I felt a bit like a fraud since I was like, oh, be confident in yourself, and then I was like, I'm not gonna do it on camera though. So yeah, to channel, I'm normally in bed. Actually, it's normally very spontaneous. I think that's why I get nervous when it's like a setup thing. Because normally I do it like at nighttime when I'm in bed, laying down. Sometimes I'll do it to help myself heal if I'm trying to process something that I don't have words for. It almost feels like a prayer. And I feel like it's really helped me when English or language falls short. I think it's a very limited container. So when it falls short of an experience or a feeling, an emotion, and something I'm trying to express. So light language has helped me a lot with that. And again, I'm not an expert by any means, and I know there's probably different types. So this is just the one. I have a few different dialects, I guess, that I use. Like one sounds more methodical almost. The other one's kind of like my natural. It's like almost like more clicky. And then I have one that I sing. Will not be singing in this one, but we'll see if all the other ones comes through. Not full of taste. So that's all you're getting today. But yeah, just feel free to try it on your own and see what happens. That's how I kind of started. I heard a few people on like TikTok and YouTube, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of fun and interesting. And then I just was open to it, and it just kind of started flowing one day. So happy channeling. And yeah, if you have any questions on light language, I am here.